Do you remember that feeling growing up of going to bed on Christmas Eve so full of excitement and anticipation for the next day, so amped up that you could hardly sleep? Would waking up the next morning have been as joyful, as special, as satisfying if we didn't build it up first? Waiting is important. When so much of your schedule is filled with prepping meals, gift shopping, scheduling family events, and just general fourth quarter chaos, sometimes there's not even enough room to experience anticipation until it's already here. It seems like department stores transform earlier and earlier each year, and lights go up just as soon as 12-foot skeletons get shoved back in the garage. Our culture is preoccupied with the next, and the next, and the next. With instant gratification so attainable, it can be hard to appreciate the beauty of anticipation. Dedicated waiting is important. Advent, the season leading up to Christmas on the Christian calendar, is a season of anticipation. In biblical times, the Hebrew people were waiting for the Messiah who would save them from tyranny and oppression. And as Christians, we believe that the Messiah has already come in Jesus of Nazareth, and that he will come again to reign in final victory. In fact, the term Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means coming or visit. So for the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, we prepare ourselves to welcome Christ into the world again by celebrating the first time he came all those years ago. Advent is the start of the Christian New Year, and it begins 4 Sundays before Christmas Day and ends on Christmas Eve. So this year, because the 24th actually lands on a Sunday, it's both Christmas Eve and the 4th Sunday of Advent. This is not usually the case. There are typically 4 Sundays recognized in Advent, and as early as the mid-20th century, each follow a different weekly theme: hope, love, joy, and peace. We, as United Methodists, have recognized Advent since John Wesley founded the denomination. But in 1792, the General Conference decided to greatly simplify the rituals and traditions associated with Advent worship services. In fact, our book of worship wouldn't even include resources for Advent like scripture readings, liturgy, and suggested hymns until 1965. This was also around the time that many denominations began to introduce Advent wreaths into their worship practices. You can recognize it from the distinctive 4 purple candles often nestled around one taller Christ candle that's only lit on Christmas Eve. And you can really tell if it's an Advent wreath if one of the candles is actually pink. That one should be lit on the 3rd week, because pink is a liturgical color for joy. These wreaths were based on Germanic traditions of marking time in anticipation by lighting one more candle each week approaching Christmas. The themes of hope, love, joy, and peace were all chosen because they related to scripture passages read from a commonly used one-year lectionary at the time. Since most denominations rarely use any one-year lectionaries anymore, the candle themes don't always directly correspond with the weekly readings anymore. But many churches have kept the tradition going anyway. In terms of origins, we don't know exactly where the season of Advent comes from, other than it's been celebrated as early as the late 4th century. One theory suggests that when Emperor Theodosius established Christianity as the legal religion of the Roman Empire in 380, the season of Lent, the traditional time where people prepared for their baptisms, couldn't accommodate such a massive influx of new people wanting to become Christian. So a second season of preparation was added to the Christian calendar. But again, this might just be a historical rumor. What we do know is that the color purple has been associated with Advent for centuries, since it represents both royalty and penitence. In more recent times, some churches have begun using the color blue too, because it's the liturgical color for hope. Apparently, there's a lot of color theory when you go to seminary. So this year, amidst your frantic shopping trips and remembering to defrost that 14-pound turkey for a ton of bickering family members, take some time to light a candle, prepare yourself to welcome Jesus into your life anew, and remember why we have a holiday season in the first place.